Have you ever looked at a great city, bustling immense, and filled with life and wondered what once stood there before the glass towers and highways? What stories lie buried beneath its concrete bones? Beneath the modern streets of Mexico City lies the memory of an empire once so vast, so complex, and so powerful that its heartbeat could be felt from the Pacific to the Gulf of Mexico. A city of floating gardens, sacred pyramids, and streets lined with gold. This is the story of the Aztec Empire, its brilliant rise, its breathless glory, and its violent fall. A civilization born from myth, built by warriors, and destroyed by a storm it never saw coming. The Aztecs called themselves the Mexica. They weren't the first great civilization in Mesoamerica. Before them rose the Olmecs, the Maya. But the Mexica were different. They arrived in the Valley of Mexico as outsiders, nomadic, poor, and unwanted. According to legend, they wandered for generations under the guidance of their god Huitzilopochtli. He promised them a homeland, a place where they would see an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. That vision, the prophecy said, would mark the site of their destiny. They found it on a swampy island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, hardly the ideal location for a great city. But they didn't see limitation, they saw opportunity. And so, Tenochtitlan was born. The early years were hard. The island was small, the water brackish, and their neighbors suspicious. But the Mexica were relentless. They built Chinamsa's floating gardens that turned water into farmland. They dug canals, laid roads, and slowly, patiently, turned marsh into metropolis. Their society was built like a pyramid. At the top, the emperor, known as the Huitzilopochtli, the great speaker. Below him, priests, warriors, nobles, merchants, farmers, and slaves. Everyone had a role. Everyone belonged to the machine. But what truly made the Aztec Empire rise was war. From humble beginnings, they formed alliances with two neighboring cities. This triple alliance became a military powerhouse. Each conquest brought new tribute, new resources, and new captives. War wasn't just about power, it was sacred. The Aztecs believed the sun itself needed nourishment, human hearts and blood to rise each day and battle the darkness. Their temples, like the great Templo Mayor in were not only places of worship, they were engines of cosmic survival. By the early 16th century, Tenochtitlan had become one of the largest cities on Earth. Home to over 200,000 people, it gleamed with white stucco buildings, bustling marketplaces, and vast causeways stretching across the lake. The Spanish would later call it the Venice of the New World. But no empire is immune to fate, and no people, no matter how mighty, can always see what's coming. In 1519, a ship landed on the Gulf Coast, its sails white against the blue sea, its men armed with steel and thunder. Their leader was Huazan T. just a soldier. He was cunning, ambitious, and willing to burn everything to achieve glory, including his own ships. He had heard whispers of a golden empire, inland. He wanted more than conquest. He wanted immortality. The Aztecs, meanwhile, watched from afar. Their emperor at the time was Moctezuma, a ruler both powerful and deeply spiritual. He had seen omens, fire in the sky, comets, lakes boiling without reason. He feared the gods were speaking. And then, the strangers came, pale-skinned, bearded, with beasts never seen before, horses and weapons that spat fire. Moctezuma sent gifts, hoping to appease them, gold, feathers, jade. But in doing so, he awakened their hunger, marched inland with only a few hundred men. But he didn't come alone. He allied with indigenous peoples who had long suffered under Aztec rule, like the As approached, Moctezuma hesitated. Some say he believed was the returning god Quetzal. But when Cortoas entered Tenochtitlan, the unthinkable happened. He was welcomed, treated as a guest, but peace was short. Tensions rose. The Spanish took Moctezuma hostage, using him as a puppet. Then, a massacre during a sacred festival lit the city on fire. The people rose. They attacked the invaders, driving them out in a desperate, bloody night. The Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows, returned with vengeance. In 1521, after months of siege, starvation, and disease, the mighty city of Tenochtitlan fell. The Spanish tore down temples. They razed palaces. They built their own city atop its bones. And with that, the Aztec Empire ended. But what really destroyed the Aztecs? Was it the muskets? The steel? The horses? Yes, but, more than that, it was disease. Smallpox, carried by the Spanish, swept through the population like fire through dry grass. It killed warriors, leaders, priests, those who might have rallied the people. The Aztec Empire, in the end, didn't fall in a single moment. It crumbled piece by piece, undone by internal enemies, foreign invaders, and a plague that no army could fight. But the story doesn't end there. Aztec culture didn't vanish. It lived on in the Nahuatl language still spoken today, in traditions, in the very names of towns and streets. It lives on in murals, in artifacts, and in the pride of modern Mexicans, who trace their roots to a time when a great city rose from the mud, guided by a prophecy and built by determination. The Aztecs were not just warriors. They were poets, astronomers, engineers, and visionaries. They built an empire from an island and shaped a legacy from blood and stone. So, next time you walk through Mexico City or look at a map of ancient Mesoamerica, remember what once stood there? A city of canals and pyramids, a people who dreamed of gods, who danced with stars, and who fought to keep the sun alive. If this story moved you, if it made you feel the grandeur and tragedy of a lost empire, then please leave a comment. What struck you most about the rise and fall of the Aztecs? And if you want to hear more stories like this, true stories that echo through time, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for more. History is not just about what was, it's about what still lives in us. The past may be gone, but its voice is never silent. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.